Hi, welcome to another Terrain Direct video. I'm Craig, and in this video I'm going to be doing a product review on a new airbrush set that I've just purchased. This is a budget set. This is not one of the massive high-end sorts of airbrush, so I thought I'd give you just a quick look at some of the things that's actually available if you're just getting into airbrushing or you just want to expand and have a couple of cheap alternative airbrushes for different various things like terrain building. So we'll go over to the bench because it'll be easier to put these things actually on the bench and show you. So yeah, let's go over onto the bench and go and have a quick look at these. Okay, so over on the bench here we have, underneath here is my new airbrush. And well, let's not keep you hanging on too long. We'll do the big reveal, and here it is. This is a generic airbrush set which I bought relatively cheaply. It wasn't the cheapest sorts of set, but we'll get this out and we'll have a look at it. As what I'm aware of is it's still actually a really good quality airbrush. Even though it hasn't got the massive, huge quality price tag. So we'll start with the first airbrush. This one is a dual action airbrush, and you'll see as we'll go in here. So we have all the actual alterations with the pressure and how much we can restrict the airflow. So, all in all, this gravity-fed dual action airbrush is actually pretty damn good. The actual feel of it itself in the hand is phenomenal. I haven't used these yet. I've only just not long got these in the post, but just overall feel, even for a very cheap alternate to an airbrush, this one is the set just is just outstanding for what you actually get for your money. The one thing I really do like in this set is the fact that you get the two airbrushes. So this one's a bottom fed. I can't remember if it's vacuum or pressurized feed. There's a nozzle inside there. The adjustment just on this one, and if we open this up down the back, is we've got the adjustment at the back as well for the needles. I think that's the adjustment. I'll play with that later. That might actually be the needle release. But yeah, it's another nice feeling airbrush in the hand. There is actually quite some. It's not heavy, but there is a fair decent weight in there. But it seems to be pretty balanced when it's actually over the finger. One thing I was really impressed with is the fact that you do actually get the reducing coupling in this set, which for me is absolutely excellent because I have two compressors. I have a dual cylinder compressor and I actually have a single piston compressor. And the dual piston compressor actually has a removable tank, and on the removable tank there's the big nut. I think it's like a 1/2 inch nut, and that's what this one goes into to reduce it down, so I can actually take the hose. So without this I couldn't actually use the hose. I actually already have one of these anyhow, but just the fact that you actually get it in this set is really good. This is a nice length hose as well. My other hose is rather large. I think it's roughly 5 meters for my other hose. So yeah, you get all your adjustable spanners. There's actually 2 of these in there. I think one's disappeared down the side of the foam somewhere. Yep, there it is. Disappeared down the foam. So that's the rear one for the. I think that's for the nozzles, for the tips. So we can sit that in there nicely. So that's the gravity fed bottle. I have multiple of these anyway. Another nice thing about this is you get more nozzles with them. This one's actually for the 0.5, which will go into the second airbrush. So there's the actual nozzle and needle inside there, which is always a good thing. I think currently in there is a 0.7. That will reduce it to 0.5. In this one we have a nozzle for the dual action airbrush, which is there, and this one, if you can see it, is a 0.3. so there's the nozzle, and inside there is a needle. Sorry, not a needle, the front of the nozzle for the 0.3. At the moment I believe that's actually in there is a 0.25 needle and nozzle kit. And also inside here there's the actual 0.5 needle, which you also get with the kit. And for the other one, the actual sticker came off of this, so I'll just try and reapply that now. I don't think this is going to stick. No, it's not going to stick, but there you go. Let's see if I can get there. That's the 0.3 needle for the dual action airbrush. So all in all, this is a fantastic kit. If you're just basically starting out, don't want to spend too much, you've pretty much got everything in there ready to go, and you're completely ready. So what else do you get in it? The other thing that you don't get in a lot of airbrushes is this. This is the actual, if you're taking it apart to service it, if you want to change your needles, this is basically your diagram to take the airbrush to pieces if you so wish, and basically how to use the actual airbrush itself. And you also get that one for the dual action airbrush as well. Many parts. You need to be careful. What you really need, I would say, if you're actually servicing your airbrush, you really need to find out what sort of size O-rings that you're going to be needing. So when you service your airbrush, you actually change over your O-rings. Though, depending on how much you're going to use, I would say, as long as you're not messing about with the airbrush too much, the O-rings and sides will last you a long time. So, all back in its box, nice and neat. How much did this cost? Would you be surprised if I said £70? Well, I would, because I actually only paid under £30 for this kit. So, phenomenal price for a dual action airbrush, especially when you're getting two airbrushes for £30. The other thing that you're going to need, if you're going to be doing airbrushing, if you're just getting into it, you're going to need some of this. This is a must. Well, it's a must for me. You can use water, you can use pure alcohol and things like that to clean out your brushes or special thinners, but this stuff this stuff's, for me, is the best stuff to get. It's relatively cheap. It's made by Oeta, so it's a good quality cleaner, and it does a brilliant job with just a few drops if you're actually spraying it into an airbrush cleaner pot itself. I'm not massively into airbrushes, so I don't go painting models with airbrushes, but I do paint my terrain in certain parts of the terrain with an airbrush. My old airbrush was knackered, I will say that. Even though I have two other airbrushes, one of them, the suction feed or pressurized feed or vacuum feed or whatever it is, I can't remember what it actually is. That one is actually it's knackered. It doesn't actually spray out the. I think inside the O-rings are done. So I wanted a new airbrush, so this is the set that I actually went for. So, in a nutshell, if you're a beginner, this is probably what you're looking at. If you're not a beginner, you really want to check like the higher sort of range. Off the top of the head, I were to make probably one of the higher grade airbrushes. You'll pay through the nose, but the detail and the quality of these airbrushes are phenomenal. I have an Iwata airbrush which cost me in the regions of £250. It's a quality airbrush. It does exactly what I need it to do. So, okay, we'll get rid of this, and that's it for the airbrush. Hope you enjoyed this small quick unboxing video review sort of thing. I will try and do another review on how it actually operates and tell if it's actually any good or not. As what I've read so far, it's actually an outstanding airbrush for the price. So, from me, stay safe, happy wargaming.